Good evening, and welcome to another segment of the New Black Leadership Coalition, here live in the great studios of Intellectual Radio. My name is Gregory Sang. I am one of the co-founders of the New Black Leadership. I am very thankful and the host and sometimes co-host of this particular show. I am so thankful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful, etc. Very, very lucky to have this opportunity over these gold airwaves to come to you all. And I'm very, very thankful to the Creator for his guidance. And I'm thankful for more so his mercy, in a very critical time like this. So thank you all for tuning in. Share this show. Please, right now, hit the share on the show before I start this commentary. I need you to share this show. Share it right now before the commentary. But before the commentary, I want to introduce really like a close friend, family member, one of the co-founders of the New Black Leadership. He is absolutely the minister of the Temple of Mercy. I mean, he's known by a whole lot of names. He sent me a message. His brother Raheem.
Facebook put my slave name.
Right, he put his slave name on. And then he goes by the sax preacher when he's playing his smooth jazz, rhythm, blues. I mean, divine music. That's what I call it, divine notes. But before we get started, because I got something to say, so if you tuned in, I want you to share the link. But brother,
yes, sir.
In this critical time, oftentimes we come to airways with some things on our mind.
Yes, sir.
Some things we want to say. But along the way, God finds a way to intervene into our affairs.
Yes, sir.
And he sends his messengers, he sends his servants to always keep you on point and help you to rise above emotions. So before we go over these precious airwaves, I would like for you, because we need it. We need some healing. We need some healing. We need some healing. Can you, in your strong voice, pray in all of the names and all of the recognitions that you do before I do my commentary? I would like for you and the folks out there to stop what you're doing for a minute, because we desperately need this prayer of unity. Can you do that, brother?
Absolutely, absolutely. I start all things with God first, but yet unity is of God. Universe is one. So it goes as follows. In the name of the everlasting Father, he that causes all that exists to exist, he that is self-existent, he who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, he who made time, the seat of the universe. He's known among the ancient Kemites or Egyptians as Amun-Ra and Aten, among the Hebrews as Ansof, Yahweh, and Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims as Allah, the one God, among the Rastafarians as Jah, Rastafari, among the Yoruba tribe as Olodumare and Abatala. But I bear witness that all of those names refer to the same one, Almighty God. And it is to him whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we are the children of those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, that we are that lost 13th tribe born here in North America, and that we are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the world flow through our veins. I greet you all in ancient words of peace in the languages of our fathers. of Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu Alaikum, Habargani, Alafia, and Ashe. So I'd like to add one more scripture to that, if I can. And I don't know exactly where it is, but I know it's in the New Testament. And it goes as follows. While men slept, an enemy came in and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. You know, dealing with this political atmosphere in Chicago.
Teach.
And me knowing the majority of those who were running, I decided not to make any response to anything that was going on, that I would back out because I saw the enemy come in and stir everybody up and then walk away. And then watched us as we beat up on one another.
Teach.
And beat each other down on Facebook.
Teach.
Knowledgeable, conscious brothers that say they conscious but not conscious of the CIA and the FBI and how they monitor Facebook, how they monitor Snapchat and all these other so-called social medias. When we said that we wanted unity and we said that we wanted to sit down and address the issues that concern us, like gun violence, domestic violence, things like police brutality, and that we had to set aside our differences. But we done hopped in behind this political thing, especially those Black conscious brothers and sisters, but yet they walking around using civil rights methods. How you going to be Black conscious and nationalist and you doing civil rights moves? They don't go together.
Ooh.
And so my thing is, if we want to get back to where we were, do for self, our own stuff, doing what we supposed to do for ourselves, coming together, we better hurry up because the damage that's being done is going to be hard to clean up when all this mess is over.
Wow. I should say that's my commentary right there. But brother, that is so divine on time. This is, as the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan say, the manifestation of defects.
Yes, sir.
The Absolutely. Manifestation of defects. Manifest. And when something manifests, you mean that it is clearly true and that nobody would disagree with it if they saw it and considered it. Absolutely. The Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan said, you can't get to perfection without the manifestation of defects. And then he went on to say, there is a problem in us.
Absolutely.
And God would not come and manifest himself until everything in us was fully exposed or manifested to us. When we are fully exposed and our defects are fully manifested, the human being can be then perfected. Then when we make a perfect human being, we can perfect the universe that Almighty God created and set into motion to evolve toward perfection.
Absolutely.
I gotta thank our fearless leader, wise man. I'm so thankful that I had a chance to chat with Minister Michael. Mike don't really pay attention to all of the chatter on social media. Minister Mike, Brother Collop, I want to thank Sister Cy Lewis. I want to thank even Brother Dwayne Hirsch that I ran into at the Sip and Savor. I want to thank you, Dwayne.
Yes,
I wrote down, I want to thank you, Brother Harold Davis. I want to thank Akeem Reginald Berry. Right. I want to thank Brother Tyrone Muhammad. I want to thank Sister Rosetta. I want to thank all of those that inboxed me and called me and said, look, take a quote from our sister Michelle Obama. When they go low, go high. And really what that means is take a divine approach. The work of the new Black leadership is about informing our community educating our community, not attacking our community. So if you out there and I said and you read something that I posted out of emotion, out of the Robert Taylor me, but even the Robert Taylor me, let me just be quite clear. The Robert Taylor me was about fair fighting.
Absolutely.
The Robert Taylor me was about going heads up.
That's right.
The Robert Taylor me was about not talking, but just meet me on the playground. That was a Robert Taylor me.
Right.
Those brothers didn't operate with just talk. But I want to say there's value in all of us, even those of you all that say, I'm with Willie Wilson, I'm with Amara, I'm with LaShawn, I'm with this one, I'm with that one. But if you keep fighting, if we keep talking down and talking at each other in a very vicious way, then you are in fact for Daily. You are in fact for Mendoza. That's who you are for. The more we bicker, the more we fight on the social media. And you said right, they monitor everything we say and write. So that's unwise for us. We cannot do it. You notice I didn't call any of the names. I'm not going to call your name, but you know, I know, we know that we cannot stoop low. That's and right. At the family reunion, our parents used to always say, look, you just keep up S-H-I-T. You remember that, Earl? It was always one among the family. You just keep up S-H-I-T. No, flush that stuff.
That's right.
It stink. And let's move to make a difference. This is a very critical period for our people. So I'm not going to go and say whoever it is, everybody that's on there talking crazy to each other, we owe each other an apology.
You know it. Don't.
Send your number and on inbox and speak as men and women of integrity and say, I'm sorry. Hey, look, I know you and me, we are both about trying to make a difference for our community and our people. Let's settle our differences and let's move in a fashion that the new Black leadership has been advocating ever since we got started. It's been about unity, but as Minister Michael has put it, you cannot do this without principles. You cannot do this without rules. And when you go outside of those rules, it becomes nasty. It becomes non-productive. It becomes a mess.
We have to set the standard as leaders.
Absolutely. You got
the new Black leadership, then we have to set the standard.
If you're going to be a
how
voice,
we respond and everything.
Teach.
Because
and so I learned my lesson.
And we acting just like them, we can't tell them anything.
Brother, you came out the gates with a bomb that I know it was a divine bomb because somebody got to talk to our madness.
Yes, sir.
Somebody got to talk to that because, you know, I learned from my minister, you know, now you say, who's your minister? You, my minister, Minister Mike, my minister, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Truth is the minister. That's your minister. And when somebody pull you to the side and they say to you what needs to be said, then you have to operate in such a way that it makes peace. It brings about peace. Some people, if they stuck there, we have to pray for them. We have to pray that however they being pulled, if they pulling themselves, if something outside of them is pulling them, we pray that that force let go of them. It's not an accident that Moses had to go into and tell Pharaoh, let my people go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. One of the things I'm saying is this, though, and the reason I quoted that scripture, while men slept, you know, it's like we're sleeping on as a people, Black people. We know God chose us, right? Right. We're his chosen people. So if we're his chosen people, then we're supposed to be working from a position of faith, love, hope, all of those different attributes that a creator or that the creator has, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if we're operating from that, my question is, why are we so caught up in the politics of this world like somebody's going to be our savior.
Ooh. Teach.
Based on the condition we're in right now.
Bro, that's so amazing. Now you got black
That's
people
what I
on
wonder.
Facebook talking about, we fighting over the little sister, Miss Kamala, is that right? Harris. All of a sudden now people going in, they checking her record out, I read some stuff, but at the end of the day, when you see the conversation, you read it, goes back to what you said. It really dilutes. It dilutes
absolutely
the credibility of any of us when we attack each other in such a low life way. We must show more respect and more discipline and definitely more love toward each other. We are not our enemies. We are not our enemy. We have an enemy, and believe me, you, me, us, we are family, and you came out the gates with that whole piece. And I hope the sisters that's listening, I don't have to call y'all name or the brothers. You all should inbox. And if you inbox them and reach out to them and they don't respond back, then that's something you have to figure out what that's all about. But don't, as I was already coached, don't respond.
There you go.
Don't respond. I responded because all of a sudden the immaturity in me came out. I was like, oh boy, the emotion.
Hit him back.
You gotta hit him back.
Right.
No, that was absolutely feeding into the hands of the enemy.
But it's also showing your maturity.
Yes, sir.
And how you rose above it today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All praises due to the Creator, brother.
We got to learn from our leaders from the past. You know, even our current leaders, like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You ever notice how when the enemy come at him, he don't say nothing for about 7 days, maybe 14 days, and let them just build up all that they want to. Then he just have a press conference and call it a day. He don't go back and forth.
That's right.
Every time they say anything, he watching.
And he can destroy them, and he don't.
That's right. And we have, maybe not to that same degree, but we got some of that same power in us. If we study his word and his way, and his word and his way is Allah's way, then we on the right path.
Yeah, it won't be unleashed until we do it. Just as you said, sometimes we have to keep quiet.
When the cloud is gone and the sun come back out, we can cut a few heads.
Right.
But not right now.
Right. I was so envious of Mike, not envy in a negative way, but as a brother, you know, I was like, man, how could you be so cool, calm? Because like, he ain't always been that way, but he taught me just a few minutes ago, Mike, we was talking because, you know, he's my guy. So he goes, man, you know, he gave some examples of situations, but he said something that, Lord have mercy, it is the epitome of atonement.
Yes, sir.
It's the epitome of atonement. And then after he said all that he said, and when I see this particular person, I show them love. Ain't no love lost. Blah, blah, blah. I embrace them.
Yes, I do it all the time too. I know exactly what you're talking
about. And I said, beautiful. Because sometimes you just want to go way over there, stay over there, and it's destructive. Sisters, brothers, no matter who your horse in this race, don't lose your mind, because the real race is us understanding that we gotta do for self. We gotta see the strength and the power. And that's why I thank you for always showing up, giving presentations. You know, so, I mean, your schedule is busy, but you always show up at the meetings, the quarterly meetings, based on your schedule and availability.
Best I can.
Yeah, no, but thank you. But at those meetings, brother, the tone that you set and the love, man, that comes out of your mouth is so critical to a sin-sick people, man. And I got to tell you, bro, I had really wanted so bad. Look, I wanted so bad, man, to hear you say that prayer, because I know that when you think about the frustration and the anger and all of the, the negative stuff out there, it's an example of we are looking in the wrong direction. We are using the wrong method, the wrong strategy to end the prison stuff. To end poverty, to end racism, to end discrimination, to end poor housing. We don't fix it by beating the hell out of each other. How is that going to change anything? It only makes it worse. If you continue to do it, you're going to have to talk to God.
At this point, you got to take the biting.
Ooh.
At this point.
Teach.
See, the stuff from the past manifests itself in the technology of today. And so when I told my ministers, I said, stand down. Don't respond. Don't say nothing on Facebook. I have to pull another one's coattail. Now, they can be the Malcolm of the 21st century if they want to be, or the college, by going ahead and running their mouth. And then they got to get suspended. So now you're repeating the mistakes of the past. And it's all about who can take the biting at this time.
Ooh.
Then it shows about that board with that house on it. Huh?
And you teach. But now what you just said, what you just said connects. See, all the people who think they know and love Malcolm, you love Khaled, and you love this one. You don't love the damn truth. Because if you understood the wisdom of those men that had to reprimand them for disobeying wisdom to save their life and not put black people's life at risk. But you looking at the stupid stuff that the media gave you, like they gave you when they do any story, they wanted to pit us against each other.
That's what's going on.
And I ain't going back to tell you what Malcolm said and how all that went down, because that'll take 2 or 3 shows to educate you. But the wisdom in what brother just said is that when you don't understand that sometimes you gotta stand down.
That's right.
Stand down. And that's the message that all of you all that's watching Facebook, stand down. Let this stuff play out. Because once this stuff plays out, look, you ain't saying nothing about the governor. All of them was going over, J.B. Pritzker, blah, blah, blah. Now what?
Who talking about McCarthy? Who talking about Bill Daley?
I don't see not one.
Now we supposed to be watching the white man and not keeping our eyes off of him. He watching us.
Oh boy.
That's what I see.
He said, and it's almost like a slave inner revolt.
Yeah.
A slave enter revolt.
You know how they get the slaves drunk, and then all of them get to fighting, and then the other ones drunk, and everybody is falling and beating each other down. Let them have a drink. That's what he's doing.
And then after the fight tomorrow morning, he back whipping our butt. He back whipping our butt after we done whipped each other's butt. Look, we are actually like the overseers. I heard Brother Harold Davis say something that was profound. He said, we got black faces right now. Black faces are the black faces is the face of racism now.
That's that's too cold. Yeah. Whose face now?
The black face is the face of racism. Where he was saying some particular people, but when you look at some of the behavior and some of the activity, we are like co-conspirators.
More like how we
of destroying our community, and we mad at the world. And it's one of those kind of things where people have associations and etc., but don't sell your soul if you in the rooms with anybody. I don't care. I trust certain people who go in a room with 10 white men or 10 white women, and you go in there and you say you speaking on bad. And I understand people get their hustle and you go get your bag, but don't be critical of other people that associate with we don't run this world right now. And once we run it, then you hire me. You give me a job and let me produce for you. Until then, don't be critical of people trying to make a difference. They never heard of the thing called a beachhead. or working behind enemy lines. But we ain't got to do that now because the man is like what you said. We done got all drunk and we beating up each other.
That's what's going on.
I mean, we should be ashamed of ourselves. I'm telling you.
Drunk with political wine.
Damn. And look, politics, but look what the minister said. Politics without economics is symbol without substance. We ain't having no economic arguments.
And moving ahead without strategy is driving with your steering wheel off.
Damn. Say that one more time. Man, that was. But
I mean, I just thought I'd say that.
No, that's a hell of an analogy. That's a hell of an analogy. But
we're just moving on. Hey, we just going plowing through everything.
Just plowing through everything, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, look, I gotta say this to you all. Now, I believe that everything happens by God's permission.
Absolutely.
This weather, this frigid, they like to call it polar vortex, blah, blah, blah. But this frigid, dangerously degrees below temperature. Your butt gonna be in the house. Reflect. Play this one back. Play this one back.
Yes, sir.
And start off with the prayer first. And ask God, man, for strength. We all do, so that we could be a little more kind of to each other. Trust me, there are some people that I've been upset with and being in a funky mood. And, you know, I've been like that the last few days because, you know, it's things about this world, man, and stuff that really makes me angry.
Yes,
and
sir.
then, you know, on top of that, when you see us attacking each other, that don't help. And then you really should just go in the room. And that's when you brought up the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan. Brother, you brought up the best example when it comes to folks talking crazy all on that controls the media.
That's right.
In the social media. But yet, he never stooped to their level.
That's right. And you can't either.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir. And we can.
See,
yes, sir.
We have to set the example, man.
And believe
me, you
can't
put leadership in that name, New Black Leadership.
Right.
And then coalition is us coming together.
That's right. That's right. And
so we got to set the example all the way through this political bullcrap as to how we are supposed to conduct ourselves, especially with the enemy watching.
Especially with, and no matter what horse you got in the race, who you think is best to run, whether they old, young, in the middle, all of that stupid stuff.
I'm glad I ain't running because I wouldn't be going to be called a horse either.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, let me call them what they are. It's a race.
A horse race.
Yeah, people, and some people betting with no money.
Man.
You hear what I just said?
Betting with no money.
They betting with no money. It's not like if the horse wins, they getting something anyway.
You know, the best thing.
They just cheering for a horse in the race. Yeah. See, that don't even make sense. Folks, our unity is more powerful than an atomic nuclear bomb.
Absolutely.
That's the prize. And trust me, no matter who in those offices, they will have to respect us and they would have to understand that we organize and whatever decisions they make.
Use your phone, use your text, use the inbox, use Messenger, but stay off the forefront of Facebook and Instagram and all of that. If we're going to get through this, let those forms of communication go when it comes to wanting to express how we feel about what somebody is doing or is not doing.
If you got a
take it off of Facebook.
Yeah. If you got a post out there, or comments out there, yeah, they can keep them, but so what? Delete them. Delete the post and move forward. And if you don't delete them, that's on you. But I'm talking from a perspective, a high place, God in the room now.
That's right.
And I'm telling you from a divine warning, divine, not me, not Minister Raheem, not Minister Mike. I'm talking about the Creator and that spirit.
That's right.
Delete those negative, destructive posts and comments.
You know they can come back and splice that together 10 years.
Oh, yeah. And what they really, but what really was really more important to them is to have us at each other's throats so that we don't come into the room. So some people don't want to come into the room and say, hey, man, I noticed at your quarterly roundtables, you gave everybody an opportunity to be involved. Yeah, it ain't about us. It's about we. It ain't about one person. It's about coalition building.
Can we talk about sellouts?
Yeah, selling out.
Yeah, because see, that's a very general term in my opinion.
Oh, yes.
It's not specific.
Yes, sir.
But everybody trying to make it specific. And it's based on their individual concept of an individual. When it comes to what portion of the pie or cake that they trying to get a hold of and you're in the way of it. So now you're a sellout because you got in the way of them getting that portion of that cake. Or you decided to address one of our challenges from a different level. You ever notice Bruce Lee, and I forgot the name of the movie, but he was fighting and it was 7 levels. And each level he fought on, the next level was tougher than the level before.
Yeah.
But yet his opponent, if you noticed in the movie itself, he knew every last one of them.
Yes.
It wasn't like they were strangers. Then he met his teacher on the 6th level. You see, but the point I'm making is this. Everybody got a perspective. And most of us think that, now I have to say this because it deals with the rich man. Most of our people think that to prove that you're not a sellout, that you got to give up your standard of living.
Ooh. Teach.
Now, let's look at this.
Teach, brother.
The rich man came to Jesus. He asked him, can he follow him? Can he be with him? He said, sure, absolutely. Go sell everything you got and come on and follow me. Rich man on his way back say, this man must be crazy. I know I can't give up all that I just amassed and then just to follow him. And I want to really follow him. Now, I believe, now this is not in the Bible, but I'm just believing based on Jesus or Yeshua's understanding and mentality that had that man went home and just in his heart and in his mind began to pack up and put a tag on, say Salvation Army, this, that, whatever, that Jesus would have knocked on the door. And he'd open the door and Jesus said, your faith has been founded. Man, stop. Come on. Whew. So it ain't that you got to give up physically your standard of living, but you got to have in your mind that if that is what you got to sacrifice to stand on the truth, I'm willing to give it up. But I'm not going to just give it up to prove to you, Negro, that I'm not a sellout.
Come on, somebody.
You see what I'm saying?
Come on,
so
somebody.
So we need to come out of this sellout mentality because when we look up, eventually when we get through defining it, all of us going to be one.
Yes. And at the end of the
that's
day,
what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Because it's so personal.
Yeah. And then you find out that, the same individuals that saying stuff like that, it's like, where do you get your money from? How do you make your money?
Everybody they said,
how do you get it?
Saying it's a sellout. I've heard people say they a sellout too.
Oh, absolutely. Every last one of them.
All the way around.
Every last one of them. And they should be ashamed of themselves. Stop that. Here, God talking again, brother.
Yeah.
God talking again. If I was you, I would be quiet. I would. Go on and make your hustle.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. But stop pointing the finger at somebody else. I got that from you, but Minister Michael had already broke that down. I know Mike over there tripping because we spoke about that.
Same heart, same spirit of God.
Same spirit, because, bro.
It's that oneness.
It's that oneness. And I'm telling you all, you got to share this conversation because that's what has us crippled as a people. I don't want to hear nothing about your analogy and who you want and blah, unless we could tune in to the divine universe of our thinking and come out of this reactionary, negative type of take them down and don't realize our strength in unity. Our strength in unity.
Absolutely.
We ain't got a choice but to be unified.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you once again, take down your negative posts. Take down delete your negative comments and move beyond all of that foolishness and arise above emotions. Because this is the hour for the manifestation of defects. And the new Black leadership, the coalition building, brother, that we've been trying to do to get all the leaders and activists and organizers and businessmen and faith leaders, etc., in the same room with principals that will respect them. They have a voice, they have a perspective, they have an opinion. We're not going to allow anybody to step over that, disrespect them. We just want us to understand that we are strong as one, man.
And when it's all over, you know, I'm asking our president to put a call out. When the cloud is gone, political thing is, you know, everybody gonna not try to prove again that they activists and they really, you know, grassroots people. We didn't mean that. And, you know, when they get ready to do it, so let's call them all to the table. And those who will come, let them come. Not make them, let them come. And I would even suggest that everybody gets searched before we come in so that if it's a real fight, at least we'll know who really can fight.
Hey, brother, do you remember?
No,
but look, it was so,
but at least when we go out, everything will be all right.
It was right.
You know what I'm saying?
But it was so amazing that in The Godfather, at that meeting, when all of the families came to the table, and just from people talking and how they reacted, the Godfather, wise man, knew.
Yes.
He knew who the traitor was. And then he told Michael, him in a garden out there playing with his grandchild.
Like Corleone,
Corleone told him, whoever come to you, and say, let's make a deal, like you want to go and talk. He said, that's the enemy. So it's different signs and behaviors that you expose yourself. And that movie, go back and watch it, man. It shows you those that are just totally on a destructive path, rampage. And yet, what you said really connects, man. The last few movies I've been watching, last night I was watching IP Man.
Oh, man.
Then I watched Enter the Dragon the night before. They kept rewinding it. I went back, you dig, because Hans, whatever his name, the guy who started his own school, went back and man, he broke ranks. See? Broke ranks. And he had brought the whole principles of what they learned to disgrace. And even Bruce Lee, he went to a grave site and said, I don't want you to be mad at me, but there's a couple of things that I gotta do. You dig? So look, man, it's a time and a place.
That's right. And it ain't what you do, it's how you do it.
For everything.
That's right.
But we need to know we are at war.
We at war.
Don't be an enemy combatant. Don't be an enemy combative.
We got a greater enemy, a bigger enemy. And
man. And his arms is too short to box with God. But at the end of the day, sisters and brothers, all of you all that's talking, we are millennials. We are young. We are old. That stuff. No, we one people.
Yeah.
And we never disinvited anybody into the room. We wasn't dealing with no age stuff.
That's right.
We brought elders in.
That's
we
right.
respected. Matter of fact, we asked for permission to even start our meeting off from an elder. So don't give me that foolishness, man. We gotta have principles, man. And leadership is about principle. If you go outside of that, you are a renegade.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, man.
We got a lot of work to do, man. And it's like, after this is over, something else gonna be put before us. And it's like that carrot on the stick. We constantly chasing it.
Yeah.
Or they'll throw something in the water and cause a ripple effect, and we run over there, and while we caught up over there, they over here doing something else to us. Nobody still. You want to be activists? Let's do it right then. Who's gonna come together and address the National Rifle Association? When we know they're responsible for the proliferation of guns. I mean, automatic weapons, quick kill automatic weapons of mass destruction.
Teach.
How come we ain't got Homeland Security on that?
Teach.
I didn't say the FBI, I said Homeland Security. That's an automatic weapon of mass destruction. Now, how come we can't get together and go against the fraternal order of police if we want to deal with police brutality? See, you go and attack one police station at a time, but when you deal with their fraternity, it's their fraternity who says whether they truly gonna get fired or whatnot, or lose their salary or whatnot. And that's across the board. That means officers who are actively working and those who are retired are still a part of that order. And that order also stems from Albert Pike and all of those redneck crackers in the South who are supporting President Trump. And we got to understand, it looks like he's helping us, but he's actually giving them the green light to continue destroy whatever it is we're trying to build on every level, economically or whatnot. So we're at war. Everybody's trying to kill us. They're after our Black youth. They're trying to destroy our future. And we got to fight back. If we don't fight back, okay. As soon as the summer hit, not that it doesn't stop, but as soon as the summer hit, they're going to find somebody who they going to capitalize, some child that's going to get shot. Then everybody going to come running out again and acting all retarded and crazy. And now they're going to be all on the news. Look, how long this been happening? I've been in this thing since 1991. The enemy has not, or shall I say the leopard, has not changed his stripes or his spots. Woo. The same plan in the 90s is the same plan in the 2000s. The technology just changed, not the strategy. He don't have another strategy.
No.
He don't have, he out of strategy.
Same playbook.
All he do is make sure he keep everybody separated. The millennials from the Generation X from the baby boomers. And so every 10 years, he can do the same thing over again, because when the connection is broken, that means that group didn't share with the other group what's really going on.
Man, the new face of white supremacy. Thank you, Brother Harold, for that. Hey, the new face of white supremacy in black skin attacking each other.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, bro, hey, look, and this conversation, we got to continue this piece. And that's why, you have to be thankful, man, that God got you. Because
absolutely,
you dig.
Absolutely.
It's easy. It's so easy.
Stay prayed up.
Stay prayed up.
Stay studying the Bible, the Holy Quran, and other holy books.
Yeah, man.
You have to.
Because, this is a very, 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 very critical time.
Right.
And when you think about, the messages that the minister have given, he said, the time and what must be done. Mm-hmm. And so when we just advocated, we literally begged leaders and activists to come into the room.
Before it got to this point.
Before it got to this point, to say, bro, let us all work together, because then we would know how to handle ourselves. But one of the reasons why many people don't want to come into those rooms, they don't want the discipline. They do not want the discipline. They made up in their mind, I'm just going to flip tables, throw them off. And then, there's some people show up to family reunion every year arguing about the same thing. They get somebody else they at. And that's when I was reading the Facebook post, I'm like, look how the family is acting. And yet everybody that's there are very passionate about their position, but yet they get to calling each other real vicious names, and we sellouts. And I'm so glad you mentioned the word sellout and expanded it, broadened it. So be careful.
Yeah,
be careful, because when you pointing the finger, you got 4 of those fingers pointing back at you, calling you the same thing.
It's a thin line there that you walking.
That's why I say it's a thin line between love and hate. Hell, but you know, at the end of the
sell and sell out.
Hey, bro, look, if it wasn't for Earl Winfrey, Intellectual Radio, I mean, there are plenty shows that come on here that gives folks platforms, man, to talk about stuff. And most of the shows that I've heard from here is all about trying to fix what's wrong in our community.
That's right.
I've not heard one show from here that don't address it from different perspective. We hugged the brother who came in. We hugged the brother, who came out before we came in. We hugged the brother that come into the shop here, the studio, when we leave out.
Absolutely.
You know why? Because we all are trying to make a difference.
That's right.
And he show us love, we show them love. And brothers and sisters, if you don't start showing love to one another, then man, just say forget it to yourself, because you need to go get on your knees and pray and ask God to deliver you from your wickedness.
Got to draw,
because ain't none of us perfect, none of us without fault, none of us without sin.
Right.
But it's a damn shame once you hear the truth, it's another opportunity for us to get it right. And that's why, bro, we didn't choose the topics when we did the quarterly round table. We gave everybody an opportunity to talk about what 3 areas they feel is important for us to all zoom in on. Am I right?
Absolutely. I was there during the round table.
Right.
I didn't sit at any table, but I was there.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that whatever the conclusion is at each one of those tables, if we can filter it through a nationalistic perspective, where it can work for us in the end to have our own, then I'm for it. And so eventually we'll have that table sitting out there so that all what they're saying can be channeled through a nationalistic perspective.
So I'm going to go on record to say, because it is coming up, I think it'll be in March, sometime in March, definitely late March, middle of March, the New Black Leadership will be convening a very important quarterly roundtable.
Absolutely.
And all of you all that's out there fighting and say you're a leader and activist and advocate, all of that, organizer, you should be at this meeting. You want some divine credibility? Stop being a social media Facebook leader, Facebook activist, Facebook fighter. Stop that and show up in the room with your brother and your sister. And let's talk man to man, woman to woman.
Face to face.
Face to face.
That's right.
Heads up. Heads up. See, and that's why I had to go back to the Robert Taylor days, baby, because, you know, all of them cats from my building, 4848, they know me. And they know me. And I always tell people, if you don't think I'm the real deal, come to 4848 reunion. Inbox me, I tell you the date. And when you look up, a lot of those brothers are retired, but God bless them to make it that far and this far, but they the real deal. And they ain't on the social media at all. But these cats are the real deal. And the reason I'm bringing them up is because they know my heart. And they know that God has used, you know, it's like at one time, me and you met while I worked at Independence Bank of Chicago.
Bank, that's right.
1982. Then I started working for the Urban League.
Right,
then I started working for Chicago Public School. But I came from the Urban League as a member, still a member, lifetime member of the Nation of Islam. A church, a mosque, a synagogue, etc. They call me Cisco in the Jets. And then some of the brothers in the Nation, G-Man, blah, 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 call Mike. Sometimes it's Minister Michael, Mom and Mike. You know, we know sometimes if we come to one of your performances, hey, sax over there getting down, you dig? Playing the music, but we balanced. You know, when I see Brother Harold is my brother. You did, because Harold gives people platforms. Harold helps people like Earl does. And we have to look at the value that we have in each other. And I'm telling you, you got to share this conversation because, hey, y'all, a lot of people don't want to share it and want to hear it because it interferes with mess. They don't want to flush the mess. And bro, you came out the gates, minister. Right?
But brother,
you came. That's why I promise you, you look.
I see all them pages you got. You have about 4 pages of stuff here.
What did I say here? Before I give one of my most important commentaries, I've given very good friend Norman to pray.
Absolutely.
I
Prayer
said for 40 years. After 40 years. Right. You know why?
Prayer to righteous availeth much.
When you listen to this show, you listen to the Butt Naked Truth, they talk scripture. They connected to the movement because that's what we're about. We see some of the same madness going on that went on. We don't want to repeat that, folks. That's why the principles of the new black leadership, our core values, man, is about changing
righteous conduct.
Right. Man, the condition of our people. We deal with housing. We've had an economic expert. We've had a brother that did a forensic audit on the city budget, man. What's the brother name, brother? Dr. Alexander laid it out. We're not playing. We're dealing with this from a divine scientific perspective, man. So y'all stop playing with that pettiness.
Can I say this? You know, yes, you got people who are for and it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, I know.
And you know we celebrate his Earth date this month, right?
Yes, sir.
What we need to do is take his philosophy of nonviolence and incorporate it among ourselves in the black community.
Boy, say that again.
That's what we need to do. That's where it needs to be used at. I mean, everybody outside of it is really our enemy, in my opinion. We need to go inside and use that same method that he did when he was saying everybody come together, black, white, Jews, Gentiles, Protestant, Catholic. No, I'm saying in the black community, we all need to come together. Everybody who is Baptist, sanctified, Muslim, Hebrew, Moor, and whatnot, and set aside our differences and use Martin Luther King Jr. version of nonviolence among each other so that we can come together and heal after this political basketball game, I call it.
Right. My mama listening, Miss Juanita saying, and Mom, the only thing that my mom is probably saying,
how you doing,
my mom is like, what did you say? What did you say? Because that's the first thing my mama gonna ask me, Mike Earl. So what part did you play? Mom did was I used the word punk and I used the word ASS. That's all. But Mom, I'm gonna say this because my mama listening. Please forgive me, those that I've used that negative terminology, low life. What the minister called it, Mike?
Where it starts.
When we cuss words, what do he call it? Baby language. Thank you. I've used baby language. Stop using baby language. Rise above emotions. Thank you all for tuning in. You got to share this show right here. The brother right here, God sent him. He walked in without a coat.
I was rushing to get here, brother, because I guess the Creator wanted me to say what I said.
Lord, and you said what needed to be said. Thank you, Brother Earl Winfrey, one of the best producers on the planet.
Yes,
thank you, Brother Minister Mike, the founder. Thank you, new black leadership members. Thank you all for tuning in, and let's settle our differences.
That's absolutely.
Peace and love.
Always peace.
And that's to those who've been talking smack. I love you.